Welcome to Equal Entertainment. I'm Tracy E. Gilchrist. Hollywood and its stars are back on the red carpet for the first time in months. First up, Hunger Games: The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. Among those hitting the red carpet for the Hollywood premiere, Academy Award winner Viola Davis, Peter Dinklage, Rachel Zegler, and Olivia Rodrigo. The new movie takes us back 64 years before the events of Katniss Everdeen. It follows a young Coriolanus Snow, played by Tom Blythe, who is assigned to mentor Lucy Gray Baird, a tribute from District 12.
It's such an incredible story, and we really are so thankful to Suzanne for adding on to something that's so iconic. And I think a lot of the filmmakers thought that the story was over with Katniss and the gang, and getting to delve into these characters in an even deeper, meaningful way. It's such an honor as an actor to get to do that, and also just as a storyteller in general, it's really beautiful.
But at the beginning, he's just a kid. He's just a guy who wants to do well and be the best in his class and maybe find love. So being able to track that progression throughout was really fun.
It felt like a really big privilege that they had already done a really successful first round of these movies, and that they knew how to do it, and there was a formula that they've kind of perfected at this point. So I just felt really safe, and it kind of allowed me in acting mode to feel like free.
It is always a joy to see great work. I believe in the artists. I do. I believe that it is an honorable profession. I think when people are exposed to the arts, I think it makes them feel alive and less alone. It sparks their imagination, and we need more of that in the world.
The Hunger Games: The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes hits theaters November 17th. Pink is taking banned books on tour with her and giving them away in Florida. Pink says 2,000 banned titles will be given to fans. Those works include The Family Book by Todd Parr, The Hill We Climb by Amanda Gorman, and Beloved by Toni Morrison. She's doing this in collaboration with PEN America's Index of Banned Books. PEN America says Florida had the highest number of book ban challenges in the last school year. Tupac Shakur could win his first Grammy 30 years after his death. He's been nominated for Best Music Film for the docuseries Dear Mama. Tupac is competing against two other late artists, David Bowie for Moon Age Daydream and Little Richard for I Am Everything. Tupac was shot and killed back in 1996. A suspect was recently arrested for Shakur's murder. Academy Award winner Taika Waititi is back in the director's chair to tell a remarkable true story in the new film Next Goal Wins. The American Samoa soccer team hires a down-on-his-luck soccer manager to turn things around. Jaiyah Saelua is the real-life soccer star who was one of the characters who inspired the film. In fact, Saelua is the first trans woman to play in a FIFA World Cup qualifier.
On having part of your story told in this new movie, Next Goal Wins.
So crazy, so surreal.
Yes, would you talk a little bit about the process of watching someone build a character around you?
Right. Oh, geez. You know, when they filmed the documentary in 2011, we didn't think, the last thing we thought it was going to turn into such a huge story and pick up the pace that it did. Thankfully, when it released in 2014, I was able to do the tour also for the movie, for the documentary. Mm-hmm. And then Taika got hold of it, and he watched it. He loved it. He wanted to tell a version of it, which is what he did. And in 2019, they filmed. I didn't realize, because I'm not a huge film person, so I'll watch films, but I don't study who the directors are, and so I knew who Taika was. I just didn't know he was such a big director. And it wasn't until 2019. Yeah, I was invited to the set in 2019 when they were filming the soccer parts. I walked into the set at the soccer White Peel soccer complex here, and realized that there were so many extras in the stands, in the audience. So many actors, the cast and crew, all the equipment. It was my first time actually seeing Hollywood in action. And anxiety started to crawl from my toes to my head, and I started to worry, because, it could go either way. And And thankfully, it went the right way.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was a really surreal process. I was hardly involved with Taika's retelling.
Yeah.
I helped a little with the casting, um, and then I was on set as well. I did some advisory work for the cultural parts,
Mm.
but I didn't actually realize how big a project it was until, I started doing the tour for this movie. It's
Yeah.
crazy, so surreal. It just doesn't happen, for us, not just the region, but specifically American
Yeah.
Samoa. Things like this just don't happen to us.
Yeah,
So
well,
every
I'm not a very competitive person. I think I probably am, but I love that it's just about everyone doing their best and enjoying oneself.
yeah.
I wanted to
Mhm.
touch on a part of the film that I think is really interesting and kind of
Mhm.
important, and that is that Thomas, in the beginning, says some very anti-trans things to you.
Mhm.
And I think even your character, you on
Yeah.
screen,
Yeah.
and I think even dead names you, which is considered
Yeah.
violent, and
Mhm.
and yet there is a bit of a redemption arc for Thomas, and
Mhm.
he eventually
Yeah.
comes around.
Mhm.
Would you talk about that being portrayed
Yeah.
in the film, the importance of it, and why you think that the redemption arc is also important?
Yeah. I feel like let, let's be real. Those are actual events that happen
Yeah.
to trans folk all across these things happen.
Hmm.
And if they made you uncomfortable to see on screen, good. That was the whole
Yeah.
point of including those parts.
Hmm.
Um, at the very least, when you experience those things in real life now, you can have the courage to step up, and say something or do something. Um, I thought it was a really important touch that Taika added, and the writers added, to include those uncomfortable, traumatizing experiences that trans people have, because they actually do happen, and a lot of times they come from people who are ignorant.
Hmm.
And the beauty of how this all plays out in the movie is that Thomas comes off as ignorant,
Hmm.
but he grows to understand um, that Kaimana is a human being and deserving of respect. And he was able to have a conversation with her, a regular conversation, able to care for her, even that in a way that um, not that he saved her, but in a sense, they kind of saved each other.
Mm.
The Bayhive is buzzing with this one. USA Today has hired a reporter to cover all things Beyonce. Cache McClay is an HBCU grad who is now an entertainment veteran. She graduated from Howard University in 2017 and has worked for NBC News, BBC News, and TMZ. McClay says she grew up in a Beyonce household and credits the pop icon with teaching women and girls to know their worth. McClay will cover Beyonce's complex business and entertainment empire. She will also cover news about Beyonce's fan base and her influence on fashion, music, and culture. You can watch the Advocate channel live by downloading our app in the Apple or Google Play Store. You can also subscribe to our YouTube channel. For the Advocate channel, I'm Tracy E. Gilchrist, and thank you for watching.